if you don't mind me asking, or maybe saying, is COVID. We've got problems with it, I believe, now, since we last spoke. Obviously, the numbers were staying low, but now they're going up. So if I just quickly jump on my share the screen thing, let's quickly go through the details. Should be popping up now. Here we go. Yeah, that was quite impressive. Come on. I'm only using, oh, by the way, I'm only using one screen now, people, at the moment, while I recreate a studio here, especially for the likes of everybody at home. So we've got 41,788 total deaths. So and that is up since the 14-day trend. So that's 11 new deaths. So total confirmed cases 398,000. So we're nearly hitting the 400,000 mark. So that's quite worried, isn't it? That's just.
I think that's very worrying compared to. Well, if it was 4 weeks ago we last spoke, we were almost thinking we were getting to the point where we weren't going to talk about coronavirus very much, and we'd turn it into a general update. And now it's definitely top of the agenda again, with that 3,000 to 4,000 cases a day for certainly the last few days, and experts warning that at this rate of growth we could hit 50,000 a day and be back up to level 4 on the scale, which potentially means tougher restrictions once again.
Yeah, it's quite interesting you say that about that level. I mean, at the bottom it does state the UK coronavirus alert level moving to 4, meaning transmission is high or rising exponentially. Chief Medical Officer says. So it's, you know, I love it when I play around my new tech. I lost where I was then. Not too many. That's why I love 2 screens or 3 screens. You know, I can move stuff around. Yeah, that's quite worrying. You know, I mean, they're saying that, but I did also notice, if I could just quickly go back to this bit here. If I scroll down a bit, I mean, obviously, well, first of all, we'll touch on Buckinghamshire. 12 cases per 100,000, which doesn't really mean much, I would say, to most people. Would you not? I mean, there's 500,000 people in the Buckinghamshire county. So if somebody said to me, you know, we're going to have, what, 60 cases out of 500,000. Doesn't sound like much. And that's a worrying thought as well.
Yeah, I mean, that figure, it's kind of hard to take in unless you start comparing Buckinghamshire to other places. And there are certainly a lot of places where the figure is double that and more, and obviously places in the north of England where it's jumped quite alarmingly in the space of a few days. So
I can show you.
Got to watch out that growth rate doesn't get out of hand.
Well, yeah, the 7-day average is what, 3,679. It's saying, but this is the daily confirmed cases rising sharply. Again, this is all on the BBC site. But the bit that you're talking about, hey, is the 50,000 by mid-October. That's what they're talking to ONS and everything about. But the 7-day average, here we go, daily hospital admissions is 233. But the hotspots, now this is an interesting bit here. So this is, again, on the BBC coronavirus update sort of page, where you get to look at, make it a bit bigger so that you can see it as well there. So you can see Buckinghamshire shows cases per 100,000, 11. So that's between the 9th of September and the 15th. So actually, if you look around, let's get rid of that. We've got, we're in the 10 to 24 bracket, I believe, aren't we? Yeah. There's 25 to 49, which is basically, if we click here, we've got Runnymede, and I think this is, I love tech. There we go, Windsor and Maidenhead. So they're not far away. They're actually quite close. So people go between different areas, don't they? So obviously transmission can raise quite a lot. Also, you've got London. People come.
Funny enough, I was in Runnymede yesterday.
It's
where my partner's mother lived. We were in her back garden, socially distanced, but yeah, she did remark that the figure's been increasing there, and it's a worry how in this modern world, as we all travel about so much, hotspots in one place can quickly move if people aren't showing the right behaviours. So I think we've all got to take notice of that.
Yeah, yeah, it goes without saying, but you can see that around the region and in the UK, you can see the yellow ones, which are 50 or more. I mean, like you're saying, going in and out. I mean, I've been going to Stansted, live streaming the banger racing, which is quite amazing. I can't believe how much they do actually crash into each other. It's quite crazy, but I love it. I do love it. Yeah, I mean, do you see lockdown coming to Buckinghamshire or to the Aylesbury Vale? Have you heard anything?
I haven't heard anything. Based on those numbers, I don't think we would be high up the list for a local lockdown. I think it's going to be interesting what the government decides in the next week or so, because I think to avoid that exponential climb in cases, they're going to have to do something fairly strong.
Yeah.
They've already said that workplaces are going to continue, things that affect the economy are going to be allowed to continue, schools are allowed to continue. So that gives them a limited number of things that they can act upon. We've got the rule of 6 now, so you can't gather in groups of more than 6 indoor or outdoor, with a certain number of exceptions, including voluntary work, which means the Aylesbury Wombles can still go out and do their thing. But yeah, I'll be very interested in seeing what the next round of restrictions is going to be. And this is not surprising. The second wave is a feature of these kind of pandemics. We've seen it in other countries. I think to some extent it's down to people's behaviour. To some extent it's changing the weather and the virus mutating. Is it down to things that the government have done that weren't done strongly enough or quickly enough? We can speculate on all that, but I think we've got to look forward and say we need to get it back under control, and that's going to need something pretty strong.
So you reckon total lockdown then again? Or they call it a circuit break, don't they?
Yeah, so it's not lockdown in that you can't go to work, you can't go to school. Those things have been pretty much carved out, but whether that will mean not gathering in parks or travelling to another place to visit other people or travelling to another place to do your hours daily exercise, the kind of things that we had back in March in the early start of the first lockdown. I don't know, I'm no expert and I'm not in tune with what the government is thinking or saying, but I'm sure those kind of things will be on the list to be considered.
Well, yeah, so are you not part of any, obviously, you're part of a political party. Are you not in discussions with the other parties, like obviously the Conservatives, in regards to any of the things that are going on?
Not directly. There are various sort of umbrella bodies for local government. So, for example, the National Association of Local Councils has given strong instructions to local councils that they should continue holding their meetings online. I think a few weeks back they were saying, well, if you have a suitable room where you can socially distance and have a meeting of a small number of councillors, you have got the option to do it as a physical meeting. That hasn't actually happened with us on Aylesbury Town Council yet, but now they're saying, no, that's not permitted. You've got to stick with online meetings. And with Buckinghamshire Council, where there is something like 202 members, you'd need to have a football stadium. So that's not going to be happening.
Well, I don't know. Well, we used to have a football stadium. I believe they're trying to get that back. I don't know how that's all going to happen. Obviously down the Fairford Leeds area with the Aylesbury United. But yeah, 202. Yeah, I don't think they're going to fit them in a small little room, especially the room that you have at the or town offices, which is a lovely room, by the way, which is great. Just before we come off of the COVID stuff, Yeah, so we've got Newport, Birmingham, Manchester, Leicester, Newcastle, Glasgow, and Belfast. I believe this is local rules announcements or are in place. So yeah, they are bringing stuff in, and it will be in a county near you if the R number keeps on increasing. And there was another thing on this site, just quickly. The death rates remain low. It's down to 22, but where is it? There we go. This is what I was. Now, last time we spoke, we were below the 1 mark. We were here. Southeast was here, wasn't it? If you remember, we were actually quite far away from that line compared to all the other areas. But now we've jumped. We've jumped. You know what I mean? We're up to the 1.1 to 1.4, which means it is increasing.
Yeah, and it's increasing. It looks like every part of the country, almost every part, has got that number very clearly above 1, which means it's increasing everywhere. And I presume that means it could much more easily spread between different parts of the country. So, we could be in line for some fairly drastic lockdown measures.